I don't know what I'm doing here. I just know that I have to do this because I just do. There's some kind of block around pulling cards for me, and I want to let that go. This is me taking a step to dissolve that. I felt compelled to pick up cards. I've been kind of just not into it. I don't know. I've had mixed feelings about tarot in general the past several months, and is it really useful? Is it really doing anything beneficial for me, for other people? Or is it actually detrimental in some way? Am I, getting kind of caught up in asking all these questions? And is it just fueling ego ultimately? But I don't want to take it so seriously. I don't want to have it be this big thing one way or another. I just want to have fun and play with the energy and see what comes out, and then sort of just shrug my shoulders as to whether or not this was important. It doesn't matter. I want to let go of the idea of importance and just recognize that whatever happens is the right thing to happen regardless. So yeah, there's all kinds of other shit to say, but I don't know that I really care to. I've been feeling a lot of things today, a lot of agitation, this sort of build up, boiling point kind of energy, and I think I just want to pull on the energy right now. I pulled out the Witches Tarot, and at the bottom is this Three of Swords. Three of Swords, Nine of Wands, and the Emperor. I mean, it's predominantly it's this. And it is like this goes different directions. It kind of comes back around in a circle. I've already looked through this whole little pre-shuffle at the bottom. This is just pulling the cards out after having not touched them in several months. The way this initially felt was a pain that we've ignored. Pain that's been ignored. Pain that has been kept under wraps, because that's the way that we were accustomed to dealing with it. We didn't want to look at, maybe we weren't ready to look at really this pain and to feel it. And we got kind of good at daydreaming, at just sort of, well, I'm just going to cast myself off into the future or the past, into some happier time, and put myself there, and that's how I'm distracting myself from actually feeling this pain. But what we're not realizing, of course, is that when we're distracting, we're trying to distance ourselves from the pain, we're actually keeping it there. And it seems that the daydreams are kind of turning back around at this point. We can't keep it out. This thing that we've been trying to get away from in the dream, in the casting away into past or future, happier time sort of thing, it's there. We're finding that it's just becoming a part of, we can't get away from it in the daydream. The daydream turns into resolving this. This can go so many different directions. Yes, I do get a specific element. We do have the Emperor here, and as it happens, at the top of the deck is the Empress. Energetically, that's just masculine and feminine energy, right? Which is within all of us. So one interpretation of this that I do feel is like maybe feeling not so authentic to self, and imagining a time that we felt like we were, that's really, instead of taking us into a happy place, it's stoking the fires of this painful place. But all that's bringing us into is to finally sort of shaking loose and saying, fuck it, I just want to feel in myself, then I want to be true to me. Stop the bullshit, whatever that means. On a more literal level, it can be interpreted as individual people. That shit's still going on, whole soulmate cycle, whatever. Something, some aspect of ourselves, something that felt really good and really open and got kind of shut down, and it hurt when it did, and now it's actually reopening. It's in the poking of this wound, we are what we think has been getting away from the wound has actually been poking it. It's actually been exacerbating it, but that's a good thing, because it's opening back up, which is actually what we want. I'm doing a shit job explaining this, but it's this feeling of hurt, that we tried to get away from, and in trying to get away from it we hurt more, and that's just leading us to actually finally feeling this. So yeah, it's time to feel. Wow, I can't shuffle at all, apparently. Everything is sticking. Like, I know I haven't shuffled cards in a couple months, but this is not that complicated. The Knight of Wands flipped back over, and the Knight of Pentacles cards are just popping out left and right. There's the Knight of Wands. I'm sticking you back in there. There's a fuck it energy. There's the Knight of Swords. Literally jumped from the deck as said that. It's time for it's just a fuck it. It's like I just got an image of, this is so weird. I think I've mentioned this before in a reading, so clearly it was meaningful to me. But there's a scene in the TV show Doug, the animated show Doug. I don't know who remembers Doug, but I do. The whole episode, he's been invited to a pool party, and the whole episode he's like trying to lose weight because he's really concerned about his appearance. He's got a little belly and he doesn't want people to see it, and he's really self-conscious, and the whole episode is him kind of like trying hard, working out, dieting, all of this stuff, and like losing a little bit of weight. And by the time he gets to the pool party, he's the same. It's the same. He's the same weight that he started at. And he's at the party, and everybody is like not really going in the pool. And finally, he says fuck it, takes off his shirt, does a big jump off the diving board, and splashes into the pool, and that's what gets everybody to adopt the same energy of, oh, you know what? It really doesn't care. It really doesn't care. I really don't care. It really doesn't matter. I can't think. It really doesn't matter what I look like. It really doesn't matter what other people think of what I look like. I am letting self-consciousness, I'm letting all of this bullshit, this made-up stuff that doesn't matter and isn't real, get in the way of me having an enjoyable experience. fuck that. Fuck that. And I've felt that a lot today. That's what this feels like to me, of just the things that we do and don't do because we're afraid of the judgment. We're afraid of how we're going to be perceived or received. We're afraid of what the consequences are going to be, to just be our authentic selves, to behave, to laugh loudly, to make a weird noise, to do something silly, to be goofy, to be affectionate, to whatever it is. We're so afraid. And I feel personally so fucking sick of it in myself. Sick of it. Of the inhibition. There's this just desire to be uninhibited. Environmental energy is Seven of Cups. And it does feel like kind of all of these factors, all of this shit that we've been worried about, Nine of Swords underneath, all of this shit, all of these things. But what are they gonna think? And what would happen if this? And what I was so worried about all of these, and the neighbors, and my parents, and my partner, and my bosses, and my friends, and what everybody gets. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. It's keeping us from the real meaningful stuff. It's keeping us from meaningful connection, first of all, and most importantly, with ourselves and with the moment. Authentic expression in the moment is a part of expressing that meaningful, real connection with yourself, letting yourself through in the moment, not inhibiting that because you're afraid of what it's going to mean, what's going to happen, what are people going to think. Six of Wands. I'm pulling 3 cards. Justice is the base energy. Where does that take us? Temperance. Interesting. Justice crossed by the 7 of Cups. Yeah, it is all of this like balancing. We've been making decisions, adjudicating a lot based on fear. A lot of the decisions have been based on fear, trying to control, trying to prevent something from happening, trying to control the way that others perceive us, wanting to be this figure. This card to me is more about this sort of figure. Forget the other stuff that Six of Wands represents. It's not about that. It's how do I want to be remembered as this guy, this kind of hero in the shining armor, you know? But it's not real. It's not the whole picture. That's not who we really are. You know, who we are in the soul is much more than that, much more complex. We're not this one-dimensional, oh, he was a hero. That's what we hear in the epitaph, you know, but also this guy, he had his demons, you know? He wasn't this perfect moral whatever. Like he if people knew everything about him, he wouldn't have, maybe he wouldn't have been celebrated as a hero. And that's what's coloring these decisions. But it's keeping us stuck. We are sticking in this I have Hangman and Devil with the World underneath, which is a powerful transition. I mean, it's time for this to end. This is coming to the surface and toppling over, spilling over and toppling over. Because we've been making decisions, so many of us, individually, collectively, as a society, making decisions because of what other people think, trying to predict, trying to get into someone else's head, which is manipulation. Trying to behave in a way that would appease somebody else, rather than in a way that is authentic to ourselves and just the way that we feel in this moment, an authentic expression of self. I wanted one more, and the Ace of Swords is on top. I'm gonna take that out. With this Knight of Swords, it's time. It's time to speak the fucking truth. It's time to just stop with the bullshit. You know, Temperance energy is also Archangel Michael. It's time to get real. And yeah, there is a little bit of this just sort of blurting out, speaking the truth. I mean, this is truth speaking energy. This is a message of truth. This is truth. This is truth. This let me tell you, this Temperance, it's measured, but it doesn't hold back. This is not a sort of find the balance type of Temperance. There's truth. This is laden with truth, and it's almost the tempering of a blade is the way that it feels. I don't know how else to explain that. There's the Emperor again, with the Chariot and Judgment. This is first of all, it's not energy that we're controlling. This is energy that's happening. This is energy that's coming in. And it is happening very swiftly, very decisively. For someone somewhere, there is, for maybe one person, this is a literal conversation with someone that is, I can't hide this anymore. I can't lie about this anymore. And there's the World again on top, but there's a collective gear shift. It's like something turning over. It's I don't know. I'm a little rusty. I'm doing my best with this, but this is pure. The way that I interpret this is feeling, energetically. What does it feel like? This is what it feels like. Again, cards falling out. I can't hold on to the cards today. She's back, the Empress. That's off to the side. There is a no more fucking dimming down. No more dimming down to make other people more comfortable, to make ourselves more comfortable. That's a big part of this. And again, dimming down means a million fucking things. It means not expressing yourself authentically in that moment. Whether that is joy or anger or sadness or some other random shit, it's not expressing yourself authentically. No more of this. Fucking no more of this. Deception. That it's no more. This cycle that we are entering into, that's already begun. We're leaving the age of deception. That was the Piscean age. We are entering the Aquarian age. The Aquarian age is all about truth. No fucking more of this. Deception will not be allowed to continue. That's a part of what happens as we become more authentically ourselves, which means in tune with our own energy, that which we actually are. We are energy, not this egoic mental projection, this idea, this conceptual identity. Only the conceptual identity is capable of deception. When you are energy and you are simply allowing yourself, energy, to express, there's no lying. There's no beating around a bush. It's direct. You know, which is why a direct energetic transmission can't be, you can't lie there. There can be layers, and we can put up fronts, but you can tell, you can feel it. It's so much, it's not the same as, you know, you can have a convincing poker face as a human with a conceptual identity, lying to other humans. Energetically, your poker face is obvious. Do you know what I mean? It's the second that you knock on that energy, the second that you touch it, and that's the way you interact with energy, is directly, is by touching it. There's this little sort of transmission that happens. You feel the inauthenticity of it, and you go, oh, that's a surface, that's a facade. It's like knocking on a building that appears to be wood or stone. That's probably a better, it appears to be stone, and you, the second you touch it, you go, that's not stone. That's not stone. I know what stone feels like by my direct contact with stone. That's not it. So I probe more deeply. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to reach a genuine layer here. That's what we're moving into. Yeah, come on. The Ace of Swords underneath. It's coming out, and there's the Three of Swords. It's everything, yeah. We can't fucking lie. I do feel that as lies, too. That Three of Swords. It's just things that we haven't been truthful about. Things that we haven't been truthful about. Maybe to ourselves. That's a big one here. Things that hurt, that we didn't admit. Yeah, actually that hurt. I am going through that still. And I'm just using personal examples because that's the only way I can really relate this information. Things come up for me. Things have been coming up for me. This is nothing new. Stuff that happened that, you know, I thought I was over, and turns out I'm not, because I still haven't fully processed that pain. All kinds of stuff from my past, childhood, previous relationship, just situations that I pushed that out because it hurt and I didn't know how to process it at the time. And I've brought it back in pieces, but it's still there. There's still pain there. There is still hurt there. There is still emotion to acknowledge, emotion that I never acknowledged in myself, you know, anger that I never acknowledged, that I can't forgive until I acknowledge that I felt hurt by something, and allow the anger from that experience to move through me. There's that kind of stuff too. Okay, let's talk about, I'm pulling on justice, apparently. Death. I'm gonna scooch this out to the side so I have more room here. Death and the Nine of Pentacles. Just making sure that wasn't upside down. Yeah, this is, it is extremely liberating. I mean, and again, death, justice, these are major arcana. This is not energy that we control. It's coming in. It's coming in to liberate us. It's coming in to show us true justice. True justice is the deliverance of truth. True justice happens for all when truth is spoken. When we level with one another, when we're on the same page, when we level with ourselves, when we stop pretending, we stop trying to cover up, we stop trying to toe the line, to maintain the status quo, not rock the boat, whatever the fuck it is. We stop trying to be this person that we think other people expect us to be. You know, there's a lot of expectation here in this. Well, you know, this is not, I'm not the person that my parents wanted me to be, or society. Let's pull on that. Tell me about the Six of Wands. Because this guy is like dying inside. Shit. Okay, now I'm dropping things. King of Wands. King of Wands falls on the floor, and Judgment popped out as well. This guy's dying inside. This is what the big hero really is, you know? And it's he's split. He's one way on the outside, another way on the inside. And it's just not gonna work anymore. Strength. This is powerful energy. Moving, pushing, pulling. Knight of Wands. There's this bursting. I am drawn to the sort of sunburst happening in both of these. And in this card as well. I mean, all of this outward bursting kind of energy. This bursting at the seams. I can't take this anymore. These are both courageous energies. This is not. This is the false, you know, I almost get the sense of like, this guy is not the hero that people think that he is. He came back from battle and he survived, but maybe he survived because he deserted, you know? He ran away. It was a bad situation and he took off. He deserted. But he came back, and because everybody else maybe died that was a part of that situation, nobody knows what actually happened, and they just celebrate him as a hero because he came back. And he is too afraid to tell the truth. To say, you know, I'm not who you think I am. I'm not this heroic figure. I'm not this great guy. I'm not this role model that you've created this whole story. And yeah, that was really nice for ego. It was really nice for ego for a while, but the weight of the truth is crushing. And the fact that I am being inauthentic to myself, that I am living a lie, I can't take it anymore. And that is creating this, I mean, it's this intense push that gives us the courage to break free and say, look, I just got to tell the truth. Maybe everybody hates me now. Maybe everybody hates me now. But I can't go on living this lie. Look at that. There's the Seven of Cups and Justice again, right here. With this Knight of Cups directly underneath the Chariot. There's an emotional spilling happening. Okay, tell me about Temperance. Tell me about Temperance. I gotta wrap this up. Tell me about Temperance. This is where we're going. In fact, let me just check one thing. Cool, we're done. Tell me about Temperance. Ace of Pentacles, base energy, crossing Temperance. And there's the Queen of Swords. Yeah, it's the seed of this truth, which is about to emerge, was planted a long time ago. It was planted when this sort of deception initially began. I'm not saying that this is a specific, I feel that this is a much more general sort of energy. It can play out in specific ways for individuals. But I am reading this as a much broader type of thing. Yeah, it's been growing a long time. But it's time for this to be done. Chariot again. Knight of Cups. That just came back. It's time to spill. It's time to move forward from a different place, a place of emotional expression and vulnerability, authenticity. That is the soil in which we want to sow our seeds. That is the foundation from which we want to grow and move forward now. Give me one more, and it circles back around. The Six of Wands. The energy flows this way in a spiral with justice in the center. That's sort of like a what. Six of Wands is like what's happening, and then this there's a Y in there, and then we reach Temperance. Temperance is clarified with the Six of Wands, bringing us back this direction. This is what we want to be. We want to. This is the true vulnerability. This is the expression of authentic emotional truth. This is who we really are. This is breaking free from that mold, from the idea of hero, and recognizing that we are a hero to ourselves when we are expressing ourselves authentically, when we are accepting ourselves authentically, when we are saying, you know what, I am not all these things that you think that I am. I'm not all these things that people have said. I don't always meet the mark. I don't always make it. I'm not always up to the task. I'm not all of these things, but I am me. I am honest. I am real. Sometimes I'm scared. Sometimes I am a child. Sometimes I can respond from ego and be petty and cruel. Sometimes I'm all of these things. I am not perfect. I am not flawless. I don't always fucking care. In fact, most of the time I don't. In fact, I really don't. I really don't. I can't care about anything more than being true to myself, than being honest. And I've been lying, in some aspect here. There's just this I have been conforming my behavior to the expectations of others in order to keep things comfortable, in order to keep myself comfortable, in order to keep others comfortable. I've been diminishing, I've been inhibiting. And that's not true to myself. That's not being the hero of my own expression, the champion of my own authenticity that I must be, because who else but me? Who else is going to be my own advocate for my own authentic expression other than myself? That's what I have. That's what I feel here. I don't know if that makes any fucking sense to anyone. It really doesn't matter. I needed to do this. This needed to come out. I needed to touch the cards, to interpret the cards, to not be fucking afraid of doing that, to stop judging doing that one way or another, to just let it be what it is and stop giving a damn one way or the other. So hopefully this resonated with someone. I believe, I trust that it did, even if it was in a disharmonic kind of way, even if it pushed you into, well, that's a bunch of shit. Fine, perfect, great, then that's what it's meant to do. Own your truth. There's clearly a lot of agitation in here still. And really for me, what I'm coming back to is just wanting to be authentically, to not judge myself, To not be so hard on myself. To just, if I feel like doing a thing, then do the thing, but not place all of this extra meaning and weight and importance on it. If it happens once, if I do the thing once, fine. If I do it once in a while, if I do it more often, whatever, fine. It's not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything about who I am. I don't want to add that to my identity, to this conceptual identity, and then go, oh, well, now I'm a tarot reader, so I must read tarot all the time, because then if I'm not reading tarot, I'm no longer a tarot reader, and now this identity is threatened, and whatever, however that applies, or a musician, or an artist, or anything, any fucking thing. To just drop the labels. If I'm doing the thing, then sure, you can have the label, that's fine. But the second that the thing stops, the label goes away, so that I'm not carrying around this conceptual identity and then having to meet certain criteria to continue having that identity. Tired of that. Tired of fucking caring what anybody thinks. I'm tired of inhibiting myself out of fear of consequences, you know? That doesn't mean like, oh, I know that, whatever. That can sound however it sounds. I don't fucking care. If the fear of consequences is the only thing keeping someone from taking an action, there's more to be looked at there. But also just too much thinking. I've done too much thinking. I'm tired of thinking. I just want to be authentically, freely. That's fucking it. I'm done. Whatever the fuck this is, it's done. It's out there. I did it. It's goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.